Miniboss Meetup runs always get fun, and right here I have a fun little combo going on. Bastion reaction, sure, I don't think any of these really do anything. Cash is not exactly something I particularly need this run. So because it's a Miniboss Meetup run, one of the things you really want to do on these kinds of runs is your first few fights are the most important by far. Oh, this is not good actually. I probably shouldn't have even done a roll, should I? Oops. And I shouldn't have done a discard because my second shot's not. A few misplays there, but should be mostly fine. Yeah. But with mini boss meetup runs, you really want to be getting the most use out of your earlier upgrades as possible. Because you I mean look, in theory if you can do 2 upgrades on the first combat, that's really, really nice. But the problem with that is most of the time you're probably going to need to also do a heal. Because you're not going to need to heal later on, and you're going to need to heal basically every single fight early on. Not being able to remove the pebble and horrible though, and the terrible actually, all of them. Quite unfortunate. Multiply doesn't matter though. But yeah, we have no ways to add or remove orbs from our deck, and we are of course doing the classic Forbification run, where we use Reposal Service to kill all the enemies. So as I said, multiplication doesn't matter. Yeah. Because, I mean, yeah, this deck can indeed find some excellent scaling sources for damage, but I'm not expecting to find anything, especially since I can't actually get any common passives, I believe. And, what the best, I mean, okay, that stops me from using the best way to scale, which would of course be, every 10 bullet you gain 1 with circle. God, so far I'm watching them just walk up to me and then regret everything. Keep doing upgrades? Oh, hello. Like, stuff like Hero's Backpack would indeed get me dealing a ton of damage. Honestly, I'll just take it. Like, yes, in theory, I want to just kill them via only Reposal Service damage, but look, I don't plan on throwing directly against Wall. It's just, we're probably not going to have the most beautiful time against Wall if we find him. So let's just not find him, right? That would be quite nice. Talk about quite nice, by the way. Man, the damage on these orbs is insane, as well as, yeah, they're already all dead. That's just how it goes. Refresh also triggers a crit. I mean, look, I'll take it. Because usually with mini-boss meetup runs, you actually play a crit comp. Because there are a lot of rare crit passives. Or at least I don't know what the rarity tier is called. I think it's called rare. But yeah, there are a lot of rare crit passives. So taking it is just a really good idea. Also, I feel like I haven't gotten any extra enemies in any of my fights. Does it just not happen in elite fights? I thought it did, but I guess I may be mistaken because it has not happened yet. Straight up. Smash. Yeah, I'm actually getting tons and tons of damage. I mean, I knew that adding Hero's Backpack would give me a ton of damage. It's just very, very natural. I do think, by the way, that Hero's Backpack is extremely, extremely good. Towards the start of the patch, I was hitting Hero's Backpack a lot more commonly, and I could therefore like build around it. But I've stopped hitting it as much recently, which means it's a bit harder to play for, and I do really like the gameplay that Hero's Backpack does provide, for the most part. I think that's quite interesting. I mean, I'll just take a run, sure. But if I'm unable to hit that, then no, it doesn't matter at all. We'll take this shot. My refresh crit, right, yeah. It's a shame because, you know, my crits refresh is actually an exceptional passive for us to hit. I don't think there's a single boss passive we really care about taking. Oh man, if that hits the refresh, that is sweet. Perfect, I almost had enough speed. Not quite though. Somehow we're actually going to get a kill on the tree trunk, that's cool. Almost through direct damage actually. I love the implosion. Hedge and Prime Rod. I mean look, we'll take Hedge just because it's funny and I think we will actually be adding more crits to the board. Prime Rod would be insane. But as I mentioned, I don't really want to kill that many enemies via the power of my massive damage orbs because like 154 damage is actually distinctly very impressive. I would rather kill them through the power of revenge damage, because that's just way more fun. And Primal Frost kind of leans into that a bit more. Cookbook. Let's take Puppet. Since it's never actually going to proc. I've gotten a lot of plant fights. Look, I'm not complaining too much because they're not that hard of a fight for me. But feel free to give me something else. Horrible kill. Neat, I guess. Oh, grinding. Grinding this early on is just super, super nice, especially since every single fight is going to be multiple enemies. Oh, okay, not multiple enemies. Like in this one, yeah, okay. Not every single fight is going to be multiple enemies, but every single fight is going to be a fight. And usually that doesn't happen, because question marks exist. Oh, I guess I should do this. Try and get a Rainbow Slime kill. Yeah, Rainbow Slime kills are useless, actually. I'll let it be. I mean, look, if they actually did anything, then yeah, that would be cool. But I don't have Basalt Totems, so it's not going to actually do anything. 1090 damage reflected. Oh, you gotta love it. Plus, like, I would have to keep aiming at front enemy to kill the Rainbow Slime, and I'm just not that interested in doing so. Great stuff. And I guess I can probably get a lot of damage here. Or maybe not. Can you get enough damage? That is the question. Oh, probably not, because I discarded the terrible because it dealt garbage damage and then it destroyed the shot that I really wanted to take. Almost maxed out all of our fortifications, and Duplication is actually quite solid for granting us some more shield. So yeah, I didn't think I needed any boss passes, but now that I actually think about it, anything that grants me multi-ball sounds perfect. Don't have Vibe Turbo though. Yet again, we get this fight. 32 shield already there, this is kind of nuts. I guess I actually get a lot of starting shield from Baldrote, don't I? Because the hero's backpack. That's pretty cool. I don't believe it actually counts Bessie's Hedge though. I could have taken a better shot if I realized I was being duped. I was unaware, however. Nice shot. Not. Oh my god. The one thing I was aiming at. Cool stuff. I mean, I'll just do this. Get some cool damage, perhaps? That was less damage than I would have hoped on the one target that I was actually aiming for. Decent damage. We get dupe this shot, which is kind of nice. Oh wait, we don't. We get a next shot. Oh, he's gone then. See ya. Smash. Yeah, we're just getting amazing damage thanks to the Adventurer's Backpack. That's pretty cool. Look, Sash is also pretty cool, but let's be honest, it's not going to pop. In theory, it is nice. Sash is still a very interesting passive. I do think that it's just completely nuts because even just the potential to double half full damage is really good. But the thing about Sash is that proccing it can be a bit tough. There's some specific setups you want if you want to be able to proc it successfully, and then, you know, like, not immediately die. Which, personally, I probably would recommend, you know. Generally, if you want to win and run, it's a good idea. Is there any way I can get enemies to move up to me faster? Not really, to be honest. No, you get enough damage here, right? Oh my god. Of course you got enough damage somehow. Oh my god, I actually got another fortification. That's nuts. It's actually so good. That's +1/+2 on our entire deck. Which is, like, a very significant improvement. It's basically an obelisk for a pebble comp, except you're upgrading a random orb, and let's be honest, if you have a bunch of the same orb in your deck, it's probably going to be pretty good, especially if it's not pebble. Was that just a... not quite death, but yeah, about as close as you can get to it. Criticus was also a good pest to pick up previously. I probably should have considered it more, but I'm fine with what I picked. Am I just going to blast through this guy before he even gets to kill himself? Neat. The answer is no, but it was impressively close. Just makes it so that the overkill was that much more. Talk about overkill. Not that shot. Great stuff. 65. I sure would love some more fortifications. Chopping Bollock is just generally not very interesting, so I doubt I'll be picking that up. Losing health, yes. It's a dream I had once. This one is just not particularly able to lose health, apparently. I'm just wondering whether or not I would do a customer like this in the future. Because it is certainly very fun. I always love playing this Forbification comp. Oh my god. Powder Collector is extremely interesting, though, I must admit. Especially since the shields are also, like, effectively making them durable. I think I will actually take Powder Collector. Specifically because, ambidextrous. I can't actually get ambidextrous this run. And that makes Ring of Reuse a whole lot less interesting, personally. Alpha Bastion, I probably should have chosen a more interesting starting passive. Doesn't really matter though. Let's throw out Le Bombs. 12-14, that's just such good damage. Yeah, that's exactly why I want a Powder Collector. I think Powder Collector fits really well in this kind of comp. Oh right, he's dead next shot. Great. Well, next shot. Next one of his shots. Oh. Perfection. Let's just think about it for a second. Okay, good. I thought about it. So, yeah, meeting as many pegs as possible is exactly what I'm looking for. I find it funny that despite the fact that we're playing Belen, Miniboss Meetup runs still just really enjoy it when you actually try and stack crits. Which, you know, like, yeah, it's not the most fortunate, but I still feel like we're going to get a ton of use out of it, especially once we can actually... Oh, our refresh can't shuffle, so taking shuffle pot just adds extra crits onto the board. But yeah, once our crits refresh, it should be pretty positive. Especially since technically it is trying to boost Betsy, which, like, maybe that means something good. Or maybe it just means exactly what you think it would mean. 623 shield, by the way. Ooh, we're there. Nice. It only took all of area 1 before we... Nice. Scaling, baby. Before we had our entire starting deck upgraded, but... Yeah, we got there. We also needed to upgrade the... What's it called? Extra fortification that we added to our deck. Alright, another one of these fights? Yeah, I think picking up that Powder Collector was a great idea. $271. I am interested in... I probably can't be a custom run, but just seeing how good shield comp is into a lot of bosses. Because I feel like if you had this general setup, it might actually be reasonably interesting. The problem is, of course, I do kind of overdo it with how many fortifications I guess I add. Here's the thing. Let's say I don't add enough fortifications, I only have like 2 or 3. So I'm reloading a whole bunch more, so they're getting closer to me and they're actually getting the revenge damage procs. Well, that does sound nice and all. I can't remove anything from my deck. So I just have 3 really bad orbs in my deck. And I just really didn't want that. I'll take Boomyverse. I'll just transition to a full bomb build, I'm fine with that. But until we get Cookbook, I guess I don't need to worry about that whatsoever. Popping Corn just... interesting. I don't think this fight will be a problem, but... it's probably the only fight in this area which actually could be a problem. But yeah, looks like his health is just 0. Oh, it's not even 0, wow. Most impressive. Yeah, I'll just finish you off then. Oh, that's actually Powder Collector. Okay. I mean, the big reason why I like Powder Collector so much is the fact that it creates a bomb exactly where you hit, because then you get momentum to send yourself away from that area. That's exactly why I like it so much. So the fact that Boomyverse presumably creates it somewhere randomly is actually not the most interesting. Like another bomb right where I am? That sounds really good, but it's not what it is. Bobble would be extremely good with that setup, I imagine. Talk about extremely, extremely good. Yeah, there's a refreshing punch there, so let's just take that. More procs is more power. And it's not like we can find enhance this run, so we'll just be relying on refreshing punch for our extra activations. Oh, this should be a lovely, lovely fight for us. I imagine we're even going to just blast through this front guy. As well as all of the pingers, just seal their own fate. I feel like we can find another Forbification. The nice thing about this run, and one of the issues that I was having with the other Forbification runs, is I don't actually have any way to remove Forbifications from my deck. It's just not possible. Which is, in theory, a good thing, but in practice not being able to remove any ult from my deck is a bit on the unfortunate side. Man, Macheska Shell giving me -2/-2 simply does not matter. Alright, refresh crit. There's just no point in trying to aim for non-crit. It's just not possible. 2 extra crits, or Fiery Furnace to grant us infinite more shield. Get another one of these fights, should be pretty fine. Refreshing Punch, as you can see, drastically increases our damage output. He's just half of his health is gone after the first shot. Second shot was a pebble. Exactly the kind of stuff I'm complaining about with not being able to remove orbs from my deck, because it certainly would be extremely, extremely nice, but it seems that's just not the case. One more, and it's dupe stations, so yep, that's a kill. Boom. I keep pressing that button. Oh, perfect, we actually found it. Now, I believe that taking the other passive might have been perhaps a little silly, since, you know, losing all of my bulk is not exactly something that's possible. I feel bad for this guy. This is a fight where we just don't have to do anything. If I had an end shot, I would be taking it. But yeah, that's just the way it goes for him. Sad, but that's just how it is. Salt Shaker is pretty lovely. Oh wow, love it. It's exactly the way I wanted to go. Hey look, it makes things faster, so I can't complain too much. Since I feel like this is overall a bit slower than I want it to be. But oh well, that's what happens when you run Crucible 20. It's just extremely, extremely hard to have a fast Crucible 20 run. When you're doing custom runs, it gets much, much easier. But this is not exactly what I would call a fast custom run. If I wanted to, I could definitely make a extremely fast custom run with Miniboss Meetup. As in like just via editing the starting deck. Because with Miniboss Meetup, it's usually very easy to find a whole Criticus combo, which means you're instantly murdering enemies. However, because we're playing Belan, it is slightly harder for us to do. I think that kind of seals the deal. That Recon Delay. Although we don't have short fuse or enhance, so it's much harder for us to actually hit our bombs. So even if they respawn back super easily, that was just an insane shot. Cool. Yeah, so even if it's extremely easy to get them back, actually getting rid of them in the first place is a bit on the tougher side, because we're basically just relying on Refreshing Punch and our multiple powers. Both of which are very, very good. But still not the easiest, since Short Fuse and Enhanced Stat really do speed up your ability to hit bombs by quite an impressive margin. Cool, cool. I mean, look, my last shot was incredible, so let's see if this one can also be incredible. It does get to start out with an immediate dupe station shot, which is very nice. I get some bombs, and there we go. I mean, that's lovely. I have no use for the cash, but it's lovely. Ooh, Spintress payment. Okay, maybe I'll actually try a Crucible 20 Miniboss Meetup custom run soon. And I'll use Spintress Payment as like the only orb in my deck, and I'll just use the crit damage from Spintress Payment to proc Criticus a bunch. since that sounds like a pretty fun orb to be procking off with Critical, as well as there are tons of rare passives you can hit, which increase. That's cool. It's quite good. Which increase your ability to get cash. Actually, is there just Philosopher's Stone? Either way, Philosopher's Stone is a great way to do so because it's generally pretty easy to find a lot of the good refreshing stuff. Like, you're probably going to find light shaft potion, heavy shaft potion, as well as it's not too unlikely you find leaf, I feel like. Since I presume the run would be on Peglin tuition. That's just my go-to for Miniboss Meetup runs because having the extra option on your rare passive after an elite is just extremely, extremely nice for that class. I'm gonna keep pressing that button, huh? I should just upgrade it. Echo Chamber. Yeah, so bombs give gold post-combat would be cool and all, but seems I didn't take it. Instead I took a passive which is going to be completely useless. Unless infection damage counts as self-damage. Which, A, I don't think it will, and B, I'm never actually going to take some infection damage, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, maybe I actually will take some infection damage. I think maybe at most one lot of infection damage. Nothing more than that. I was right, at most one lot of infection damage. Still just 0 though. Oh my god, fine, I'll save my 10 cash. I'm sure that'll be crucial. Magnetism Mantle, I could just... Look, if cash was handy, let's just try and speed things up a bit. I understand that killing enemies by revenge damage is extremely fun, and we will still be able to do that with all of the pingers, which there are a lot, as like this fight proves. But I do want to try and speed things up a little bit, because, yeah, usually I like these runs to be pretty fast. It's something I really do look to achieve, and feel like this one has perhaps been dragging on a bit more than I would usually like. As I mentioned, it's why I generally don't do as many 2020 runs. Because, like, what, do you really want me to split the video into 2 parts? Nobody wants that. I feel like that's just so much less interesting. Block building suspense between... Yeah, I'll pass. I just don't think that's the right idea. Alright, I forgot to upgrade my pebble. Not to worry, I'll be doing that after this fight. It's not like our cash actually matters. And we just have a lot of it lying around. We have 0 way to spend it, and we're not gaining any. But we don't need to be. That's good. Screw it, let's just roll with that. I'm actually taking it because it's pretty funny against Queen Dragon if I can get on my first shot. Actually, not just first shot. Any shot after the first shot. Here we should have a whole bunch of Pierce that... Oh yeah, Molten Mantle does funny stuff there, I guess. But we should just have so much Pierce here that it closes out this fight pretty fast. Like, I will say, like, yes, our fights are pretty fast in general for this run. Despite being on a generally pretty slow comp. Like, we don't really have any fights that drag out a bunch. The problem is that every single fight is a fight. And that's not what usually happens in your runs. Usually I'd say probably, what, like a third of your fights are fight? Maybe a third's a bit too much. But something on that level, I'd say. Where it's like a third or quarter of your fights are not fights. Which is really helpful for speed, especially when you consider shops as well. Because shops are incredibly fast, treasure chests are incredibly fast. And then you have your, like, elites, and they take a while. Especially since, let's be honest, the elites in Area 3, they're kind of just like, okay, so your deck is trying X thing, like targeting enemies or hitting tons of pegs. What if I just removed all the pegs, made you spawn from the bottom of the map, or like made it so that there are no enemies you can actually hit? Target. Like, they're all basically trying to stop you from doing what you really want to do normally. And they do a good job of that. I will just really like to... Yeah, okay. I would definitely admit that. They do quite a good job of that, to the point where all of them at some level are going to be decently annoying. And then I just get shots like that. Yeah, good. That's why I had to be responsible to my deck, because I actually maintained my shield because I murdered them that fast. Gotta love that. Okay, please just send me through. There's no such thing as post-combat greed, unfortunately. As much as I love post-combat greed, this one is not exactly able to greet anymore because I picked up Molten Mantle for my boss passive. You know what? That is actually kind of crazy. I have 2 runs in a row now where I've taken Molten Mantle. And Molten Mantle is not actually a passive I like too much, as I've said quite a few times now. Yet still, I have it again. Look, I do think Molten Mantle is decent a lot of the time, and when you're picking up Molten Mantle, it's probably going to be pretty solid. Because most of the time, if you pick up Molten Mantle, it's because you can pick up a Molten Mantle. It's just a lot of the time it feels like you really can't afford to pick up Molten Mantle. In particular, Molten Mantle absolutely sucks as a first boss passive. Just absolutely cutting all of your money potential away is just not what you want to be doing. Also, this very easy first shot kill. Great stuff. I kind of pulled together the combo stuff that I was talking about that these Miniboss Meetup runs usually tend to find. Thanks to the power of these 3 AoEs. Yeah, we shoot the first shot, it grants us some shielding. We shoot the second shot, it hits like 3 coin pegs and he collapses. Hey, I wasn't wrong. It just also happened to refresh, you know, which is generally pretty valuable for getting damage. Great first shot, especially since that's a orb I don't actually want in my deck. Cool stuff. I will say though, I did actually manage to close out Area 3 faster than I expected. Which is nice, that's generally what you expect from these mini-boss meetup runs. I am doing this. Oh wait, I don't have any shield. That doesn't actually work the way I wanted to. That was sad. Mask of Joy, yeah, okay. Well, let's just do the funny thing, right, because... Mask of Joy says gain 1 more bulwark, and technically I am still trying to play a bulwark run here. It's just most of the time, most of these enemies aren't actually hitting me enough that I can... That was not the orb I meant to shoot, but that certainly is going to get a kill on all enemies first shot. Yeah, that's just how that works. Mostly due to Overwhelmer. Didn't matter how much PS it had because Overwhelmer, like, it was just dealing so much damage off of Overwhelmer at that point. Especially since Criticus and the bombs were whittling down their health. Like, apparently I can just shoot this as the first shot and it's going to kill all enemies. Like, that's pretty cool. Although in theory I would love to walk into this Coin Dragon fight with Dupe Station up. It would be really nice. Great stuff. And a little bit of Wool Chicken because, you know, 316 max HP isn't enough, right? I'm still going to go even further beyond. Plus, like, there's just a massive difference between Wool Chicken grinding you 25 health and Wool Chicken grinding you 26 health, and we got 26 health just there. Alright, that's a lot of these fights. So our first shot isn't going to be Dupe Station. We'll have to see how good this first shot is. Yes. Look, I can definitely get the kill with the Irresponsible. The problem is I don't think it's going to get to the Irresponsible, so yeah. So I can't be irresponsible about it. Yeah, I was right, it's not going to get to the Irresponsible. Kind of shot that so that it ends as fast as possible, but like 1k damage with a lot of bombs. 1500 even. Yeah, that's not happening. Pendant, sure. Just more. That was good. Didn't actually expect to pass through everything there. Yeah, okay. Well, you're probably just dead here. Right. No, not quite, okay. I see. When he gets to me. Okay. Or just there. Yeah, so I think the big thing that contributes to him just dying there was Refreshing Punch, proccing a bunch of coin pegs, which hit the Peglin pendant as well. And because the Peglin pendant immediately boosted the damage, it meant that the pings that we were getting off of the Molten Mantle were dealing so much more than it usually would. Yeah, the Miniboss Meetup runs are definitely fun, and I enjoyed that customer. That is a customer I do definitely enjoy. I'm not sure if I'll bring this into Miniboss Meetup again. I think that there are probably other things I prefer to do. It is like extremely, extremely fun, but you know, if I didn't take all of these like high damage pressure passives like Hero's Backpack and Criticus and all the bomb stuff and all of that kind of synergy that work towards all of those things being such a high damage menace, then the run would have been just incredibly, incredibly slow. And as I mentioned a few times, I just really wasn't looking for that because Crucible 20 runs, I try and make them as fast as possible. Yeah. Like we could only get rare passives because we were only facing elites, and yeah, we got some pretty damn amazing ones. Didn't need most of them, you know, like we didn't lose a drop of health that fight, so we didn't need any healing passives. I don't think we even did. We have any healing? Oh, we had one healing passive. Okay. I mean, look, if I'm going to get offered like Echo Chamber or Popping Corn, like, of course, I'll take the Popping Corn, even though that wasn't the option. I can't remember what the exact choice was, which is a surprise. But I guess I did see a ton of various options. Well, this was, I'm not even going to bother. Yeah. Oh, we Philosopher's Stone even granting us extra damage. That's cool. I love it when you get to use Philosopher's Stone for extra damage. That's always an extremely cool combo because generally with greed passives, you need to be able to convert the greed into tempo generally as soon as possible, but sometimes not as soon as possible. And yeah, having like Picklinaris Pendant is a pretty good way to do that. Yeah, we have the duplication potion stuff. I did see a lot of shuffle orbs. Didn't really want to pick that up. Probably shouldn't have picked up the irresponsible, but irresponsible is actually pretty synonymous with this comp. Especially if you can't find repostal service, you are actually going to want to pick up a repostal service. And I have at times in the past picked up an irresponsible while I've had a fortification deck, specifically because I've been fighting Deal. And the funny thing about Deal is, yeah, if you're trying to use a damaged source like repostal service, yeah, that's not going to fly. That's not going to work. He's just going to chomp straight through there. Whereas irresponsible, let me tell you, instead of flat damage, it boosts the actual damage of the orb. The difference between the two is absolutely insane. I really like Activate Orb. I really like Irresponsible. They both actually boost the damage of an orb via. There's like some kind of inherent downside attached, and I just find that so much better than plus flat damage. Echo not really included within that because I feel like a lot of the Echo sources are pretty solid. Ouroboros is mostly just really lacking because the damage on it is just so horrendous. Like, oh god, I'm remembering how good the old Ouroboros was. God, the damage upgrades, it was just you get Ouroboros, you try and upgrade it ASAP because it's just so worth it. And like the immediate fight after you get Ouroboros, you're like really sad because like it's only a persist 3 orb. Like, imagine if it also had the damage boosts on it because like that orb could just like solo an entire run.